12 sacks in 2 games and 0-2. Damn. Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Jobu. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business on this morning's edition of Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, because you literally cannot sleep on the Dallas Cowboys because things happen late in the evening, late at night, first thing in the morning, so you want to be up to speed with all that is America's team. But before I get to our Dallas Cowboys, let's have some thoughts and prayers for everybody in North Carolina as well as Central Virginia as well. We had a tornado down through there, and you literally have towns that are underwater. You've got pig farms where the feces ponds are overflowing. So you're talking about a Mother Nature disaster, so to speak. Can't speak this morning, not quite awake, haven't had enough coffee. You've had over 34 people lose their lives, and it's going to be a long-term recovery. So if you can help out, please help out and keep them in your thoughts and your prayers, because we as Americans, that's what we do. We help out our fellow man. Now, here we are, 5 days, 8 hours, 18 minutes, and 17 seconds away from playing the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. And if you've never been to Seattle, I tell this story quite often, but it's still vivid, like it just happened yesterday. In 2013, we went to the Cowboys Seahawks game in Seattle. And I remember a person telling me, take earplugs. What? Take earplugs with you because it's that loud. I was like, come on, man. I've been to football games before. Earplugs, be for real. And that place, when they say the 12th man, it is no joke. I literally was sitting next to my wife, going like this, trying to get her attention, and yelling at the top of my lungs, and she could not hear me. That's how loud it was. You feel like you're inside of a jet engine. And when you leave the place, your body is still shaking from the sound vibrations. It's that loud. But right now, the Seattle Seahawks don't have a whole lot to cheer about. The Seattle Seahawks got beat last night, and that's one of the great things about football, or I shouldn't say great things, but one of the things about football is playing teams at the right time. Last year we had 2 games where teams were coming off bye weeks to play us. So in essence, they had an extra week of rest, including the Eagles, which makes it a little easier when you're not having quite as many aches and pains because your body has had a little bit of time to heal. Well, Seattle got pummeled last night by that Chicago Bears defense, which is, with Khalil Mack, you got to look at John Gruden and say, John, what the hell were you thinking to let that guy go? Are you kidding me? He is literally a one-man wrecking gang. He had a strip sack. I won't even say it was a strip sack. He literally took the palm of his hands and just took the ball away from Russell Wilson. They had 6 sacks on him. And this is the second game, back-to-back, 6 sacks against the Seattle Seahawks. So if you're the Dallas Cowboys defensive line right now, the hot boys, you're licking your chops. You're looking and saying, let's see if we can be the third one in a row to get 6. Now, I said a video yesterday that people are basically saying I'm an idiot. And I am. I'll admit it. I'm a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll. I'm not an ESPN expert. I'm not on First Take or Undisputed or Speak for Yourself or Just Get Up and We'll Throw Some Stuff on TV show. I know that. I don't work for ESPNs, like Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport and these guys. I am Joe the fan, just like you guys, that just looks at things and says, this is what I see. So, truth in advertising, I am not an expert. But when I look at the Seattle Seahawks, they are completely in a rebuilding mode. Right now, if you're Russell Wilson, you're waking up. You're hurting. Our Cowboys, Sunday night game, in bed last night or watching the game last night, resting. Seattle, today's the off day. That off day, they're going to need it just to try and get up out of bed. Russell Wilson is an incredible quarterback, but you cannot take that kind of pounding week in and week out. And Seattle, just like John Gruden, people should be questioning what he's doing. I think you got to start questioning Pete Carroll. If you know your offensive line stinks, you need to develop quick-hitting routes. Yet they're still trying to keep it going down the field deep, getting their quarterback killed. You have to question Pete Carroll and letting Chris Richard go. I know, difference of opinion and personality because of the mistake they made in the Super Bowl, where they passed instead of running Marshawn Lynch. That set up the division between the defense and the offense. But I got to tell you, with the way the defense is playing under Chris Richard, you find a way to get along. Because clearly, it's not about coaching ability with Chris Richard. You look at our Dallas Cowboys defense. The only real difference between last year's defense and this year's defense is you got a little more depth, and your cornerbacks have an extra year of playing time, a little more experience. That's it. Currently, right now, and I know a lot of people will say, well, you only played the Carolina Panthers and Cam Newton, you only played Eli Manning and the Giants. Well, I'll tell you what, the Giants last week, the week before they played us, against Saxonville, only gave up one sack. Only one. We got 6. Cam Newton only got 160 yards passing against us. Against Atlanta on the road in the Mercedes-Benz Dome, got 3 TDs and 335 yards. Now that's comparing apples to apples right there. So you look at this defense, and this defense is lights and day better than where it was. And that's where Seattle kind of messed up. They kind of said, you know what, we're just going to kind of rebuild and start over, with the exception of Earl Thomas. And you got to feel good about our defense. And I think I alluded to this in the offseason, and I said I wanted to get Chris Richard as our defensive coordinator. And in fact, I believe he really is our defensive coordinator. We've taken the Tampa 2 and we've changed it a lot. I mean, we've gone from being a 8-yard cushion to challenging receivers. We're not really blitzing that much more, but we're doing a whole lot more stunning. Most of the sacks that we got against the Giants weren't just a man beating a man. It was the fact that the Giants couldn't handle our stunts out there. Guys were coming through free. And that, again, is all going back to this newfound defense. And the fact that you take a Rod Marnelli, who I've always said is like the defensive line whisperer. He takes guys that you don't think are going to be anything and turns them into productive guys. Who saw Antoine Woods being the man-child that he is? He started out 4th on the depth chart. You look at a guy like a David Irving, a practice squad guy. You look at a guy like a George Selvey. Guys that were has-beens, never had been, never were going to be, and guys nobody thought much about. But he turns them into productive guys. And even now with Taco, getting him to focus in on just the defensive line, to me, was the right thing. You have some guys that are just great position coaches or coordinators, but don't become great head coaches. And that's Rod Martinelli. Rod Martinelli coaching that defensive line is making it that much better. And when you've got a pass rush, as the New York Giants found out years ago, when you have a pass rush, it makes it that much easier for the rest of your defense. Because if the pass rush is there, if you control the line of scrimmage, it keeps your linebackers clean to make plays. It means that your cornerbacks don't have to hold up for 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds. It makes everything on that defense that much better. And that's why for years I always have been saying we need that 800-pound gorilla in the middle, that immovable force, that guy that requires double teams. Because you control the middle of the field, you control the football field. And that's where we're going into this game. We're pretty much healthy. We got Randy Gregory, who's dealing with a concussion. We got Deontay Jones, who's still coming back from his knee injury. And other than that, and we got Malik Collins, who's got a little bit of a knee issue, but doesn't appear to be major. But we've got a great rotation of guys, and this defense is going to be what leads this team. It's going to be the difference of where we had to be before, where we had to score as many points as possible because you were worried about our defense giving up a lot. So that's where we stand right now. I feel good going to this game, although it's always hard to play in Seattle, but we always play Seattle tough. So we've got 5 days, 8 hours, 9 minutes, and 15 seconds till we kick off. And later I'll have a video up about the Seattle Seahawks. Did they really screw up by holding on to Earl Thomas? And will Earl Thomas still be traded before the trade deadline? I'm betting he will. I'm Mark Holmes, and I hope you guys have a great day, and thoughts and prayers for North Carolina. I'll see you soon.